So, with Avengers Doomsday releasing next year, and basically the entire future of the MCU depending on this movie being a success, Marvel knew that they had to get the ball rolling early for marketing, which is why this week we got a confirmation that Chris Evans will be returning to the MCU as Steve Rogers, aka Captain America. And oh my god, I actively hate this decision. I think it's terrible, it's lazy, and overall makes me want to tear my hair out. Now, before I go any further, I just want to say I know that this opinion will be pretty divisive, so if you're excited for Captain America's return, that's amazing, okay? I'm happy for you, and I wish I was in your shoes. So let's just hold off writing that concise and thoughtful comment for just a moment and have a little conversation about it, yeah? I know that it was reported quite a while ago that both Chris Evans and Haley Atwell will be returning in Doomsday, but I think I just chose not to believe it because I didn't want it to be true, but now, by God, do we have confirmation. I love Captain America as much as the next nerd, okay? I do. He's awesome, and his previous appearances in the MCU cemented him as one of the most beloved characters in pop culture. But in my opinion, bringing him back after the events of Avengers Endgame is not only a bad choice in terms of storytelling, but also shows just how desperate Marvel have gotten to win back general audiences by any means necessary. Before we get into it though, if you're new around here and you do enjoy this video, please do hit subscribe. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of next year, and as you can tell, we've got quite a long way to go, so any help would be greatly appreciated. Now, I think it's best for me to break down my hatred for Steve Rogers' return into 3 main categories, so let's do that. Starting off with number 1, holy shit, Marvel cannot afford to be original anymore, can they? When I heard that the Russo brothers were returning to direct the 5th and 6th Avengers film, I thought, fine. They did a great job with the previous 2. Might have been nice to give some other filmmakers a go, but given how much is hinging on this movie after 4 years of Marvel's reputation being dragged through the mud, I can see where this decision came from, even though the Russo brothers' recent endeavors outside of the MCU have, not been flattering to say the least. Then when I heard that Robert Downey Jr. was returning to the MCU, this time as Victor Von Doom, I thought, huh. Okay. I didn't hate the casting. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is an incredible actor, and I have no doubt that he will deliver a great performance in this role, but this was definitely one of those moments where they could have gotten another great actor, but chose not to because they wanted to bring back their golden boy instead. Tony Stark had a fantastic final chapter in Avengers Endgame, which I never wanted them to touch again, but I suppose because it's Victor Von Doom, a totally different character, it's not the end of the world to bring back RDJ. Yes, it's a bit jarring, and it definitely pushes the boundaries a little, but I don't hate it. When I found out that Chris Evans was returning, I put my fucking head in my hands. If RDJ was pushing it, then this decision is the one that broke the camel's back for me. Marvel are absolutely incapable of originality anymore. It's like going to see a band do a concert and they play their big hit song with 1 billion streams, like, you know, a couple times. You're like, yeah, that makes sense, play the hits. Then they play it 8 times and you're just like, okay, can we go home now, please? Unlike RDJ, who is playing a different character, Chris Evans is not. It's the same Steve Rogers that we followed for a decade and had a perfect ending in Avengers Endgame. After standing up to Thanos and his army and finally being deemed worthy by Mjolnir, Cap led the Avengers against the Chitauri and earned himself his freedom and his rest. Going back to the time that he was always supposed to grow up in, with the woman he was always supposed to grow old with, and living happily ever after. It's the most perfect ending in the movie, 10 out of 10, no notes. Let's not fucking go back there! I don't care what Steve is up to in this movie. I don't care what purpose he serves to the story. There is absolutely no reason that the writers can shit out of their asses that can make me believe that bringing back Steve Rogers was a decision born out of anything other than money. Because there is just no more story to tell here. This character has run its course. But since Marvel are so scared of what their future will look like if this movie fails, they ran back to their safety net and essentially tried to make this movie identical to Avengers Endgame. And side note here, but I don't know if this is gonna work out as well as they think it will. Like, sure, you can bring back the directors and their 2 main gorgeous white boys, but when it boils down to the actual movie, there is absolutely nothing that can get general audiences on board to the same extent that they were in the 2010s. Marvel was a cultural juggernaut throughout the entire Infinity Saga, but now it's actually pretty niche due to the poor creative decisions made during phases 4 and 5. Like back in 2019, everyone in the general public knew even the names of the C or D-list MCU characters. Like if you were to say to someone about Korg or like Valkyrie or the Wasp, they'd know who you meant. But nowadays, if you were to ask someone, oh hey, are you excited to see Ghost or US Agent in the new Avengers movie? they'd probably tell you they don't have any change and tell you to bugger off. My point is that yes, dropping all these familiar names may generate hype online, but I don't know if it will translate into actual theater tickets being bought. Because when it comes down to it, this movie is not Avengers Endgame, no matter how much studio execs and Kevin Feige wants it to be. Anyway, point number 2, and this is one that I feel really particularly strongly about. We already have a Captain America, but Marvel seems to be determined to do as little with as possible. Right, Sam Wilson. First introduced in Captain America: The Winter Soldier as the Falcon, and by the end of Avengers Endgame, gets given the mantle of Captain America by Steve Rogers himself. And ever since that point, Marvel has basically just been making the least out of this incredible decision as they possibly can. Firstly, they have him fully accept the mantle and assume the position of Captain America in a limited series on Disney Plus that, I hate to say it, not many people saw. This was in 2021. It then took them 4 years to make a new Captain America movie starring Anthony Mackie, and even then, when Brave New World did release, not only was it mid and a huge mess, but Sam Wilson was completely shoved to the side in his own film. It was just an unnecessary sequel to The Incredible Hulk 20 years ago, with Captain America randomly shoved in the middle of it for no reason. And he doesn't even have a character arc. Hell, Red Hulk is more of a fucking character arc in this movie. And all that boils down to is, cherry blossoms, they remind me of my daughter, and that makes me sad, because I miss my daughter. Cool. Thanks, Hulkiana Jones. And even now, when we finally have Sam Wilson as Captain America in an Avengers movie, he doesn't even get the spotlight because Chris Evans is back. Are we actually serious? Why are Marvel doing everything in their power to diminish their new Captain America as much as humanly possible? I just don't get it. Not letting Sam Wilson do anything for 7 entire years only to push him to the side when he finally gets the chance to is absolutely outrageous and makes me really angry because Anthony Mackie is an awesome actor and I really think that if Marvel fully utilized him, he would be a fan favorite character. But nope, he's not nostalgic enough, so Chris Evans has to be Captain America in the same movie. Nostalgia is everything. Creativity is dead. Yay! What is the point in even bringing in a new Captain America if all you're going to do is bring back the old one as soon as the next Avengers film rolls around? I know that Sam Wilson is going to have his own Avengers team in Doomsday, but it's too little too late. Side note, isn't it funny that almost nobody on this Avengers team has ever interacted before? Oh god, this movie is going to be so weird. It just further solidifies that this decision to bring back Chris Evans was born out of a need for money and nothing else, because if the writers and studio execs really cared about the story, they'd focus on Sam and his journey of finally leading his own Avengers team without needing to divert people's focus by bringing back the old one. I mean, I'm just thinking about Steve and Sam's conversation at the end of Endgame, if it was honest.
Sam, I've decided. I want you to have this shield. You be Captain America now.
Really? Oh my god, Steve, that's such a huge honor.
I mean, don't get used to it, though. You'll only have one Disney Plus show and a bad movie before I'm back, because everyone prefers me anyway.
Oh, right. What? Why are you doing this, then?
Because at this point, Sam, Marvel has enough money to believe they don't need to rely on nostalgia to be successful.
Oh, okay, makes sense. Right, anyway, let's move on to point number 3. This movie already seems like a huge mess. Do we really need this extra stuff on top of that? Given how messy and incoherent the multiverse saga has been, it's no secret that these next Avengers films would have to do a miracle, in fact, to tie up this chapter of the MCU neatly. I mean, God knows they've obviously had to drop like 700 or 800 plot lines and characters for this movie to work. I mean, do you guys remember that Hulk has a badly CGI'd son? Or that Shang-Chi's sister is the head of the 10 Rings now? Or that there's currently a character kicking around in the MCU with the ability to transform into any and every Marvel character with their exact power sets? No. No, me neither. Anyway, my point is that the cast of this movie is massive. There are so many different teams and factions coming together, even the X-Men from a totally separate movie franchise. Not to mention that they have to introduce and build up the new big villain in the same movie since we've never seen him before. And yet they still think we have time for Steve Rogers in an alternate 1940s timeline? Do we really have to do this? And to the people saying, oh, he's not going to properly be in this movie. He's just going to be the opening scene of Doctor Doom going to him and telling him that he fucked with the multiverse and then killing him or something. Firstly, if that happens, that undermines the end of Endgame in every single way possible, and I will actually hunt down and murder the Russo brothers and Kevin Feige personally. You have my word. And secondly, if this was true, then they wouldn't make such a big deal out of saying Steve Rogers will return in Avengers Doomsday. Whenever they say something like that, they almost always mean that this character will be a large part of the respective movie that they're talking about. I mean, God, if they were going to bring Steve Rogers back, Why in this film, when we already have way too much going on? We have an Avengers team who've never met each other or ever interacted, which we need to build up. The Fantastic Four from another universe, the Thunderbolts, the Wakandans, the X-Men, plus Doctor Doom. We don't need a fucking H-plot for this film, okay? We really don't. And look, I'm happy to be proven wrong. Okay, I really am. I'll be delighted if I come out of theaters on December 18th, 2026 and realize that this was a masterful decision and that Steve Rogers served the story in a beautiful way that not only worked with the overall flow of the movie, but also honored his character well. But currently, I'm not particularly convinced that's going to happen. At the end of the day, I'm going to be at our opening night to see this movie because I'm so skeptical and confused as to what it could be. I know I'm kind of contradicting myself here because I said that I didn't think that this marketing plan would sell tickets, and I just said that I would. Just let me have this, okay? I understand Marvel's desperation to revive their franchise after, frankly, some of the most rocky years I've ever seen a cinematic universe undergo, but I just feel like they could have gone about it differently. Such as casting me in the film, okay? I'd be a great Captain America, even though I'm from the UK and hate America. Or I'd Scarlet Witch. Well, Emma Frost. That's the one. I'd be a good Emma Frost. That's the one. You can see the similar body types. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Please do subscribe if you did enjoy. Lots of new content on the way, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.